What is going on, everyone? Ryan here at M&R Productions, and today we're taking a complete look at the brand new reveal of the LEGO Star Wars Ultimate Collector Series AT-AT, a set that has been a very long time coming, a set that LEGO really hadn't been able to make until now. They've devised a new way to support the structure of the legs and all of that jazz. So if you guys enjoyed the video and are excited for the UCS AT-AT, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'll have my review of the UCS AT-AT out later this month. Anyway, this set, all the information up front here, set number 75313, we knew that. The piece count is actually a few higher than what was rumored, with 6,785 pieces on the official count, and it is going to retail for $800 in the United States, tying it for most expensive LEGO Star Wars set with that UCS Millennium Falcon. The set releases on November 26th, which is Black Friday this year. You'll be able to buy it on lego.com starting at midnight, or you can go to the store on that Black Friday when it will be crazy busy and try to get one in person for yourself. Shockingly, I don't understand how they continue to do this. There are no pre-orders available for the set, so nobody can secure their copy right now and be done with it. You have to be awake at midnight the night of Thanksgiving when you're hanging out with all your family, or you have to wake up super early and go to the store. It's really a mess, in my opinion, to not have a pre-order for the people that want that option when you've given it on other sets before. Nonetheless, let's get into the set itself. We'll start with the box here, which is a spectacular looking box. You can see the top of the head on the top with the minifigs. The AT-AT is beautifully shown on the front. I like the blue hue that they have behind the AT-AT. Sometimes the colors they put behind sets with these 18+ black boxes don't look the greatest, but I think the baby light blue looks really good here. We have the correct Imperial logo with AT-AT and Star Wars written below it, so that's nice to see. At least they got it right on this one, unlike the UCS gunship. And then on the side of the box, I really like this picture of the AT-AT. We'll take another look at this picture like on its own in a second, but it's this picture of the AT-AT just head on. Looks really dope. Now we'll use the back of the box to jump off and into different features. So we'll start out with the dimensions of the set. We can see that the set is 24.5 inches tall, 27 inches long. So that puts us about as close to 1-to-1 minifig scale with this LEGO model as you can get. It is spectacularly in scale with minifigs, and I think a lot of people wanted that out of this. It made sense, unlike something like a Star Destroyer or something. You can't do a minifig scale Star Destroyer, right? But you can with an AT-AT, which makes sense for UCS AT-AT. Like a minifig scale gunship wouldn't make sense because it's not that much bigger than the gunship we had previously, but for this, it just works, and that's really nice. It just ended up being in a fortunately reasonable scale compared to what we've had previously and what LEGO could do for the price at $800. So it actually worked out scaling-wise. Now, like I had talked about in some previous videos, there are the panels that you can open up on the side, so you can actually swing open a smaller panel and just have access to one of the small rooms on the first level of the AT-AT, or you can entirely remove all of the side panels. And this is actually something that's really cool about this AT-AT, is that you can remove all of the side panels and you can display it like it's a cross-section of an AT-AT, like the cross-section books that I'm sure you've seen before with the pictures of all the sets in cross-section or the ships in cross-section. This is literally that, and it's a really, like, this is the first time I've ever done this in a LEGO Star Wars set. Maybe, well, the last time, but if it is the only time, it is still one of the coolest aspects about this. It's a very unique way to display something. That's not to say you can't display it without the side panels, because I think that's the way I would be displaying it, but it is an option for the people that want to do something like that. I think it could look particularly good if you had a big cross-section poster of an AT-AT right behind it. Now, going in depth for the interior, there is a lot to cover here. So the back room is a speeder storage. You have 2 Imperial speeder bikes stored in that area. Now, there isn't a picture that I could find that shows the other side of the build to see what the other room is, so I'm not exactly sure what's stored over there. I also really love behind that you can see some of the Imperial lighting with the strip lights, I guess, that they have in their hallways a lot of the time. I think that looks really awesome. Moving into the middle section, we can see the E-Web blaster being held there, as well as another snowtrooper just walking around, and there's plenty of floor space in that section. I'm sure it does more, but I just don't have it in the imagery here. There's also more of those Imperial hallway lights in there. It looks really cool. And then farther to the right, there are even more seats, as well as the hatch or the faux door that is going to lead you into the cockpit of the AT-AT. The cockpit of the AT-AT has a similar looking faux door. Unfortunately, there is no real passageway between the two, so don't expect to have that. Now, there is a ton more seats on the top level, and it's really cool to see it from the top down view, just how many seats are here. It's insane. I don't think there's ever been this many seats in a LEGO Star Wars set. I think the most prior to this was probably the AT-AT, which had like 16. This one has like $40. It is absolutely absurd. And with the Snowtrooper Battle Pack coming out, you're going to be able to fill this set up completely for like, I don't know, an extra $100. The other thing about the interior and the ability to display it in the cross-section that works really well with this set is the black outline that they gave most of the set. Now, there's some piping and stuff that's going on that they do in some different colors with that dark orange color that looks really nice, but really the black outline does help this set look super good when you have all of the panels taken off the side and if you want to display it like it's a cross-section version of an AT-AT, which works phenomenally well. Now, looking to the cockpit of the AT-AT, we can of course fit 2 AT-AT drivers in there, as well as General Veers. General Veers has his post to stand at, and the drivers actually have 2 seats to sit at, and there is a viewport essentially that they're looking at, but it's just made up of stickers. And I really love this cockpit area. I think it's very spacious. I love, again, there's like a fake door at the back. You obviously can't walk the minifigs through the neck. You have to have some real support there to hold up that head that is basically otherwise free floating there. One of the coolest things about this set by far, though, is the underbelly of the AT-AT. This is so fantastically designed. It is so much more detailed than I could have ever expected the underbelly of an AT-AT to be. We have all of the detail you could want. There's some piping. You can see the little hatch that Luke ends up throwing his detonator through. You also have the rope, or basically the cable that Luke shoots up, but I think it drops out of the AT-AT just because that's really the only way they can make it function properly, but that Luke can kind of ride on up into the AT-AT to throw his detonator in and blow it up. Now, obviously, unfortunately, there's not a blowing up function with the AT-AT. Maybe you can get some tannerite or something, throw it in there, and do what you will with it. Obviously, that's probably a one-time thing, but it would still be pretty cool to see. I got a video idea now. Now, one of the things I find weird about this set is the way you move the head. I thought you could just grab the head and move it, like that's what I would have expected. However, it does appear you have to take a panel off, and then you actually turn something inside the AT-AT to turn the head. I think this is weird. I don't think it's necessarily ideal. I do, however, think they did this so that the head isn't super floppy, because that has been a problem on smaller play scale AT-ATs, and I could only assume with the heavier head here, it would be a bigger problem. So having to use a lever kind of makes sense when you think about it that way. It's not ideal, but that is like something for structural reasons, I think, because otherwise the head would probably exert some amount of force that would either cause the head to fall off or cause damage to the body. Something bad would essentially end up happening there. So that's probably why that's there. You can also move the guns on the front of the AT-AT, which are nice. Also, they actually finally got the red part on the front of the AT-AT right. They have never had that before. Even on last year's summer 2020 AT-AT, it was just a gap there. So seeing it in red is pretty cool. Like, even when they did the stickers for the AT-AT, they didn't get it right. Like, that was really confusing. But yeah, this is finally proper, and it continues to add on to the fact that this is probably the most accurate Lego Star Wars set ever made, hands down. Like, it's got every interior detail other than like the passageway between the body and the head of the AT-AT. Like, everything else is there and proper, and it's amazing. Now let's talk about the legs, because the legs were the reason we don't have this set yet, or hadn't had this set yet. Like, this set should have came out 7 years ago, basically. But stability was a big issue with the AT-AT, and as such, they really had to wait to devise a new plan to make the thing work, essentially. Now, unfortunately, this is not a flawless system. It is, as far as strength goes, probably the best thing they could have done, but they do use something they've never done before, and that is they've essentially added a screwdriver, which you can find hidden behind your information plaque for the AT-AT. By the way, information plaque looks pretty good. No incorrect information that I can tell, although most of the time someone comments eventually and is like, yeah, they got this wrong, and they did. But nonetheless, I love that it's hidden behind the thing, so you have a nice storage spot for it, but you don't have to worry about losing it necessarily. And as far as I can tell, all you have to do is stick it into either the knee joint or the upper leg joint. You can actually do it in both, because they have the same gear system in both the knee and on the top of the leg, so you can actually pose it in different areas. And I believe there are 8 different points of articulation, although I might be wrong with that. And so you can actually spin this screwdriver essentially to change how your AT-AT is articulated. That's nice to have. I do like that you have some say in the way you're going to be able to display this. I would expect that, obviously. If it didn't have that, it would be a big problem. It would have only have been done if they had no other solution to it, but at least they found a solution. And the only reason this works with this set and not like a $160 set, on top of the fact that like the $160 set, you can just stand it and it's fine. You have to have this because you don't want the legs on this set to just be moving about all willy-nilly because of the weight of the set above it, because the weight of the set with the older system, or the smaller set system, I should say, would would essentially just crumple that probably. And so you just can't have that. It's a big problem. And so with this, it holds them in place, and the only way to move them is with the screwdriver. That just makes a lot of sense. It basically removes any possibility that your AT-AT is just going to crumple under its own weight when you just have it sitting on display and you haven't touched it in 6 months, because that's what a lot of people are going to be doing with this set. You don't need to move the legs all the time. You just need to set them the way you want them, and you're good to go. Here in this picture, you can see the AT-AT has an absolute dump truck, very nicely detailed, very tiled off in the back. I'm not sure if you can pull any of these panels on the straight back off, but I know that on the side and the top, you can take all of those panels off and completely access the interior and play with it if you really want to, but for me, it'll just be a setup for display if I'm gonna do anything like that. I almost forgot about the Luke's lightsaber promo. That was officially revealed today as well, with 173 pieces, and from the only small bit of information I've seen that seems official, but I'm not like 100% sure, you know, so don't take it as gospel, it seems like it might be locked in with the $800 UCS AT-AT. It's not 100% confirmed at this point, but it is worth noting that Yoda's lightsaber a year ago was locked with the $350 Mos Eisley Cantina, so it is not out of the realm of possibility for LEGO to go out and do this again. I hope it's not that way for a lot of people that want to get this thing and not pay $800 for the UCS AT-AT, but it is looking that way, unfortunately. But man, this thing is so incredible. I am so happy we finally have a UCS AT-AT. It was so long overdue. It was unfortunate. It's one of those unfortunate cases where there was actually a good reason they couldn't make the set. And so finally having it in the year 2021, while maybe a few years later than a lot of people would have loved, it comes as the third in kind of a string of big $700-800 UCS sets. We now have the Falcon, the Star Destroyer, and the AT-AT all available at the same time that cost $800, $700, and now $800 respectively. I'm curious if there's going to be a fourth in 2 more years. What could the next $700-800 UCS set look like? Will it be another Death Star? That to me is probably the most sensible next move, but I'm curious in the comments below. Let me know what you think the next $700 or $800, maybe even more. Maybe they go for $1,000. Maybe they finally try to truly break the bank and really push the limit of what people may be willing to pay for a LEGO Star Wars set. Let me know in the comments section below. Also, let me know what you think of the UCS AT-AT. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed the video, and subscribe so you don't miss my review of the AT-AT, and as well as a comparison between the AT-AT, the Falcon, and the Star Destroyer when I get the AT-AT later this month. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace out.